Morning, ladies of Network She. I should now be live on Facebook in the group. I'm just going to go and check that I am, so that let's have a look. So I'm looking two different ways. So if you're there, if you're watching, do you want to just give me a bit of a hello in any kind of comments? It's Ruth from the Consult Centre, and I am kicking off, I think, pretty much the Business and Personal Development Day. So thank you very much to Ruth, the other Ruth, the captain, for letting me take part. I am just going to probably be with you for, I don't know, anything, probably 10 to 15 minutes. The main purpose of this is that I am here to answer any of your questions that are related to social media. So the first thing is, good morning, Sarah. If you are watching this, say hello. Is there anybody out there? Actually, in the words of, I'll try not to break into song. So I've been asked some questions about social media, so I'm going to try and answer those. You'll notice that I'm kind of coming into you via Zoom. The reason for that is in case I need to share my screen and show you guys anything that you might want some help with. So as I say, I'm not going to take up too much of your time. However, how useful this session is probably more about what you ask of me, rather than me kind of just rabbiting onto you. So a little bit about me. I look after and I'm the proud owner of a business which looks after other people's social media, but I'm also a training business and coaching supervisor. So I kind of spend my life on social media, and in doing so tend to pick up some of the hints and the tips and the tricks and stuff that usually people want to find out more about. So I did ask for some questions, and a couple of people did ask about Facebook shops, but I need to know exactly what it is you want to know about Facebook shops. Some people asked about the different buttons on Facebook. Some people asked around how do you connect those. So I'm going to try and give you a bit of a whistle-stop tour around some of that stuff, and hopefully that should help you. So we've got some comments here. I'm just going to have a look and see what some of those comments are. Oh, morning, Gaz. Morning, Annabelle and Eloise. Oh, hi. And Tracy's on. Tracy got the lyric. Good on you. Right. So first thing is around changing a button on a screen. So I've had a couple of people ask about this, which is how do I get people to my shop, or how do I change a button on the screen? Well, a lot of that has changed lately. So what I'm referring to now is your Facebook page. On your Facebook business page, you are able to, good morning, Soad, you are able to change your button, and it has a lot more options than it would have had before. So I'm going to share my screen with you. I've got a couple of different screens. So if I'm looking to one side, I apologise. Not that I'm not interested in you. It's just that I need to be able to share another screen with you. So if I do share that other screen, what I was intending to do was to show you a bit about some of the changes you can make and optimise. So now you should be seeing the Consult Centre's screen. If you're seeing that, please let me know that you are. And what I'm going to show you a few things that are underneath this main header area now. So when you look at this main header area, underneath there are a number of things that you're now able to do. And as I say, they have been improved. So when you look at this, the first thing is, when you look at it, you're looking at it as an administrator when you open up your Facebook page. And when you do that, that means that you get a different view to what everybody else is getting. So one of the questions I was asked was, how do you change some of the buttons? First thing is to understand, what does the consumer see when they look at your page? Because you only see one option, they see two. So Facebook naturally and automatically puts a messaging option in. So some people add a messaging button, but actually it's already there. So what do I mean? If you look at my Facebook page as a administrator, it looks like it only has one button, and that one button would be the ability to be able to WhatsApp me as part of the page contact strategy. But actually, if I press this button, which is view as visitor, what you will notice is that there's 2 buttons that now arrive. So a visitor actually seeing 2 buttons the entire time. They're seeing this message button because that's encouraging them to Facebook message you. And now you're seeing that additional messaging button. So when you're making changes to buttons on your page, you're making changes to the blue one. The grey is there by default and always will be. So if one messaging option is enough, I would suggest you maximize using that button for something else. So if you're looking at that, and let's go back and exit this view now, and we're going to go back to looking at this as though we were the owner of that page. You can edit. So in editing here, you can click this and you can go to edit button. And now you get given a whole host of options. So you'll notice this is circled out. This is the like my page. Everybody gets that. Again, it's automated onto your page. You can now send people directly to a number of apps to be able to buy gift vouchers, if indeed they wanted to. You can send people to your website to a food ordering menu or app if they want to, if that's what you do as a business. You can have people be able to book an appointment with you, and so on and so on and so on. So I'm going to go through some of these. But some people have asked me around the shop button as well. So I'm going to try and answer those 2 things in one. So if we go right down to the bottom first, let's do that shop button one. So you can do shop now. And all of these buttons really are just, yes, the button says shop now, but ultimately you're just putting your website address in. So in order to be able to shop and send someone to your shop, you need to make a decision. Are you asking them to have a shop on Facebook and check out on Facebook? Or are you sending them somewhere? If you're sending them somewhere, i.e. no Facebook shop, then that's where you would put your website address. My advice to you would be, don't put your home page, put your actual shop address in. So go to the shop on your website and choose the correct link. So what I mean by that is, if I'd gone up to here and I'd gone to a particular website, this person has a shop. So you are able to purchase things from them. So I wouldn't be putting that in because that's just their website, their general address. I'd be putting in their actual shop address because I would want to take people directly to the place of purchase. I don't want them to have to make their own mind up. So you're able to then choose that particular URL. So I'd copy paste that, take it back, and it would go into there. So when people then hit shop, they would land directly on the shop page. So that's how you can very quickly add a shop button to your Facebook page. But it's not the same thing as having a Facebook shop, and I think that's probably where people get confused. With WhatsApp, what number do you use for it to go to? Okay, so you would use it's your business mobile, but effectively what it does is it slightly masks your business mobile, Tracy, until you decide to reply to them. So if you, again, this is going back to the buttons. If you go back to the buttons themselves, so if you go back to edit and you got to edit button, and I then was choosing that I wanted WhatsApp, you'll see that my phone number is in here. You'll see I can edit it if I want to, and I'm able to go to it. And in doing that, I'll be able to put in my details. However, in your Facebook settings, because this is important in terms of how that WhatsApp interacts, you're able to go down to the side page here, which is in your Facebook settings. You can go to the bottom, and then you ought to see Facebook settings menu. So you've got a whole list of stuff, which is for a different time. But when you scroll down to the bottom of there, you'll be able to see WhatsApp. So if you click on that, this is your settings for how you're going to use WhatsApp. So I've already entered my number. If you wanted to put it in for the first time, this would be exactly the place you would come to do that. You put it in. But then you'll see there's a number of different options. So Setting WhatsApp as your primary button page. So you click yes, it would do that under your cover on your page, WhatsApp us button, as you just seen on mine. Show WhatsApp number on your page. You can choose yes or no if you want to do that, in terms of whether you want to give that number away at that point. And you can also sync it with your contact information. Now, what's important about this is that WhatsApp has a business setting. I don't know whether many people know that. So if you have WhatsApp on your phone, then you can actually change it into a business setting. So if you go into your WhatsApp and you amended it to reference business settings as opposed to personal settings, then it puts some additional safeguards around using your number as well for when you are sending information. So you would go into your settings and there is an option that ought to say business tools or change to business. If you do that, it will put some safeguards around your number and how you use it as well. So that may be helpful for you. People have asked about shop. So there's massive changes on Facebook shops. You can do a number of things with a Facebook shop now. You can, yeah, business WhatsApp is brilliant. It is fantastic, Annabelle, I agree with you. And you can also put out of office on. So you can say when you're out of office, you can put another number that you might want people to ring. It makes contact very quick and very easy. Clients do really like it, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Shop. So a few things. The first thing is people say, I haven't got the option to manage a shop. You can see shop here on my settings. However, you might not have that option there. If you haven't, you need to go to settings. In settings, you've then got something called template and tabs. You go to template and tabs and you'll be able to scroll down a list. As part of that list at the bottom, you've probably got some of these things, but they may be turned off currently. You need to turn them on. Well, shop you definitely need to turn on if indeed you want to have your shop on. So if you were to click that on, you'll notice it turns to blue. That means the shop is now active. The thing to note is that if there's nothing in your shop, don't worry, no one will be able to click the shop button and not see anything there. It only populates when you've got something to show them. However, from the minute you put your first product in, it would be available for everyone to see. So in doing that, you can now go to manage shop. You might need to refresh your browser, but you'll be able to get manage shop. If you try and do any of this on a tablet or on a phone, you're in for a whole world of pain. So I really wouldn't bother about doing that. I would try and move straight to your desktop or your laptop to do this work. So there are a few things to note, and it's a question I regularly get asked, and it can cause a lot of people lots of frustration, is where are they checking out at? So how are they paying for anything? Because there's different ways in which you operate this option. If you've got a website, then you should be listing the products. Yep, and then you're going to be giving a direct link to each and every product. So what do I mean by that? I mean that you are going to load your product, and in loading your product, I'm going to stop sharing the screen. So you're going to load your products on, and then on your website, on your checkout of your website, when you're going through your shop, each of your products should have its own individual address. In other words, if I just want to see pots, I can see. If I want to see a saucer, I shouldn't be seeing everything to check out on the same page. So as you click through a catalogue, at the top the URL is changing. That different individual URL should be listed for every product. So you go to upload your product, and when it says address to check out, you don't just put, my website blah/shop, because it's just going to take them to the whole shop and they might only want one item. So what you need to be doing is making sure that the address you're putting in is www.myshop, whatever it might be, .com/shop/item number, or whatever that item number is. You will get a far faster checkout and conversion, and commercially you will flog more stuff because you're not making your consumer think about where it is that they might need to go. So it's very important that you make sure that you put individual links on. And yeah, it is really difficult on your phone. So I'm going to reshare this screen again and I'm going to show you. So that's one option. The other option is that you can check out directly on Instagram and on Facebook. There are varying degrees of success on this because at the moment they're rolling out what's called merchant services into Facebook and into the US and the UK. One of the things that's really important here is to note something. You can't do shops just on Instagram. You will be able to in the future, but not right now. So basically what happens is your Instagram and your Facebook are linked. The items that are on Instagram are being driven from the items that are listed on Facebook. So you have to have a Facebook shop. That Facebook shop then syncs with Instagram, and then you get the opportunity and the option to be able to link those two things together. Some people will on this call say, well, I'm on this video, well, I'm able to do it without it being on Facebook shop. That's because you'll probably be operating something like WooCommerce, Shopify, or something that may be having a direct link into Instagram, what's called an API link into Instagram. But for us mere mortals, what will normally be happening is that you will load everything onto Facebook. Facebook then syncs with your Instagram. You must make sure your Instagram is linked to your Facebook. And then when that happens, your products will start turning up in your Instagram for you to be able to tag as a product. Okay. So if I then share this screen, and I will very quickly show you a couple of things. So you got to your start setting up a shop. You can choose your website at this point. So you'll notice it then reminds you. Customers will be directed to your website from your items details page. So again, what that means is you will load up your items, and when you load up your items, you'll load up the individual links. Once you do that and it accepts them, once it accepts them, you can tag those products on Facebook and on Instagram. Be mindful not to use any suspicious wording. They reject things for a whole host of bonkers reasons on Facebook, and sometimes you will have to review and appeal and review and appeal. Stick with that process. It's painful, but it does eventually come out on your side. So that's one part of it. Then you've got this. Check out on Facebook or Instagram. For that, which is what I made reference to earlier, is where you have Shopify, WooCommerce, or something similar. So when you go through this process, it will ask you to log into your WooCommerce or your Shopify, and it will ask you to do what's called a product catalog, and it will sync and upload your product catalog. Now that is ace if you've got that. And the reason that's ace is because when you are managing your product catalog, it will auto update into Instagram and Facebook. So if something goes out of stock on your website because the last person's bought it on your website, it will update all of that onto Instagram and Facebook at the same time. If you haven't got that, then you're in the top option, which is where you're sending people via a link. People ask about Etsy and stuff. Well, you can do things like that. You could, on this top option, do the same thing. You could send them to an Etsy page if you've got an Etsy page. My advice to you would be that getting a simple Shopify site would be 10 times better than an Etsy page, only because of the sheer amount of commission that Etsy may be charging you as an individual maker or crafter, that they charge an awful lot of commission. And that can be quite disheartening when you're selling stuff. And then your last option can be a direct message. So you load a product up, you put all the description in, and then you say, message me to buy. And if you're going to do that, they will then send you a message on Facebook and via Facebook Messenger. You will send them back a bill or a quote with a PayPal Me link, and then they will transfer the money into that. And then you will arrange for the delivery of that. At one point would have maybe arranged for a collection of it, whichever it may be, but that is the way in which you do it. So you've got three options. You'd send them to your website using the individual product URL. Don't send them to an overall shop. You can connect on the second one this checkout on Facebook or Instagram, you will need an e-commerce partner. What they mean by that is Shopify, WooCommerce, that kind of thing. Or you can do direct message. You load your item, you load your description, and you say, message me to purchase. So I'm hoping that's kind of answered those questions that I got sent last night. You'll have seen some of my notes go out last night about just staying visible and staying in contact. You know, now is the time to do that. I know we're all fed up and probably a little bit disheartened in you know, in many cases. You know, as best you can, I would be shouting from the rooftops how fabulous you are. If you are somewhere where you can't open right now, you might want to post on your media about supporting local businesses and buying vouchers. So if you haven't got any vouchers available just yet, I would maybe think about getting some printed up with some voucher codes with an expiry date and something where you can sign it to make sure that it is a valid voucher and you did produce it. Maybe speak to someone like Liz Castro, one of the printing girls, see how quickly that they're able to put you some vouchers together. But it is really important that you do stay visible. You are brilliant at what you do. It's a hiccup, it's a bump in the road, but it will smooth out in the future. We did put out a note yesterday, which was around signing up for a MailChimp link so we can send you out some free help and advice. We promised to do that. We're not going to spam you with it. We'll probably send 2 or 3 a week that go straight into your inbox that give you some ideas around things you can do on social media. We may even link you to some Canva templates that we'll create in advance, and then you're able to just download the link, put your logo on, slightly change your colour work, and then they're already designed for you, stuff like that. And some how-to videos. It's all free. It's just so we can help out local businesses because it's difficult enough. So let's all pull together and hopefully we'll all come out of it happy, cheery little individuals. So I hope that that has been of some help to you. Feels really weird because I'm just talking to myself. If it has, please let me know. If you have any more questions, I can come back on and do one of these every week, every other day. I don't mind at all. As long as Captain Ruth says it's all right, I'll come on board and I'll do some little live free videos. So please put any comments below. If it's been helpful, that'd be great. Put some comments below around what you might want to know a bit more about. I can cover you off on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook ads, website, SEO, Twitter, Google My Business. And don't forget the essentials courses are available now. And if ever anything was essential, it would be stuff like getting your social media together. So I'm signing off. It's been lovely to talk to you all this morning, and I will hopefully see you all soon. Go out there and tell them all how bloody fabulous you are. See you soon. Bye for now.